came down and sat next to me. You had my heart fluttering, baby, like a pair of butterfly wings. I seemed to talk for hours about everything we knew. And when you went away, baby, Lord, right then I knew that there's only one woman for me. You showed me things I'd never seen. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. There's only one woman for me. It's been 2 years, baby. Oh, you're standing there. I see the love in your eyes, wind blowing through your hair. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, the love we shared. And I knew in my heart, baby, none would ever compare. And there's only one woman for me. You showed me things I've never seen. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. We talk for hours, made love on the beach. You are my dream, my only fantasy. Then one summer day, my darling, you went away. You flew up to heaven, you see, got your own pair of wings. Though it broke my heart, I remember everything you taught. There would never be another woman that could mend his heart. And there's only one woman for me. You show me things I've never seen. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. You show me things I've never seen. Whoa, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
All it's missing is a bing.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I gotta tell you, I hate all the Christmas music stuff.
Why?
Because it means the end of the year.
I think it means more greatness for the holiday season.
I know, you guys will all say, yeah, but we get to start new. And, you know, it's just been such a transition this year.
I don't
met
think about it
Josh.
starting
There's a lot
new.
of
I think
transition.
about
military.
where we've come this year. You know, you and I have been cleaning out the radio station because the physical location and the crew, they've been amazing. The physical location in Boca has closed and they've moved it up to West Palm Beach, but now the reach on this change is now 6 radio stations. The physical location from Boca is now here. I think it's been good change. I can't say any of the change has been bad. I'm sitting here thinking, what has been, it's been a lot to
I'm
digest,
going to explain this to you so you understand.
but it's where we've been and where we're going.
Hold on, un poquito, hold on. Your son is about to get married.
Yeah.
Okay. The day that he gets married and he says, I do, and now he becomes someone else's
Situation.
situation, you're going to learn what 15 years of being at that one studio and saying goodbye has meant to me. See, you're going to learn just how much time does not heal pain, because I see it. It's where I started. It's before all of this.
I met
it's
you
before
there.
You.
I know.
It's before everybody. Man, I was there with my son. It was me and him. We looked at each other and says, what the hell are we doing?
But look what you created.
I'm entering my 16th year. You know what that's like? That's
Yeah.
a long time.
long time.
I mean, Steve Kane got a little age on me because he's been doing it maybe and a little bit longer than I have. But I look back at everything that we're going through now, all
Yeah.
all the technology. My son knows when there's a busted wire.
Amazing.
He says, okay, go look for it. It's there. But I look back at the origination of when we started. Now, you guys have been in business a long time. You remember the first deal you ever made? The first interview, the first song you ever had, the first girl you kissed. I mean, think about this. When your son gets married, he now moves on with his life, you're going to get a taste of what I'm feeling today, because that's like my life. That was my life. This is nice. This is very nice. This is better.
Wow, did you just diss this?
Not at all. This is
Okay.
much better. This is the
Okay,
best.
just saying.
I heard people come in here yesterday, and they have known Marsha till 8 years, and her guests were like, "Why weren't you here instead of over there?" And they love it. It's not about that. It's about I got to try craziness at the radio station. You ever write a song and you say, "Man, is anybody gonna like this song?"
Absolutely.
You ever write a book and say, "Is anybody gonna like this book?" Well, when I started streaming, it was to save AM WNN at the time, save AM radio, which they were ready to sell and close down. You can ask Jody. It was going kaplunk. And we brought in video to AM radio, and they changed everything. I love the way everybody takes credit about it. They're on Twitter and Twitch, and man, we've been doing that for 16 years. We started doing Zoom when there was no Zoom.
Look how many lives you've touched, how many lives you've changed, how many people you've given
How many
opportunity.
interviews have we done? Over 4,000?
But even more than that, you've given people opportunity to, as Lynn always says, to speak their truth. Because he always tells me people want to be seen and people want to be heard and understood, right? You've given, I don't even know how many, beyond the interviews that you and I do, the hosts, the opportunities for businesses to come forward,
I have a lot of them. I
right?
know a lot
So
of
think
people.
about the lives that you've touched, the businesses, the opportunities to give people not only to be heard but understood, because they have that 30 minutes to an hour to not just say it, but to explain it.
But that's what I mean about the end of the year. It's another year going into 16.
How many more lives you've helped?
It's just, you sit back and you go, wow, look at all the things that we've accomplished. Like the kids today, they were moving some paintings around. And to them, it's just moving paintings. But to me, it's moving things in my life. Every time a painting moves or a curtain goes up, I'm trying to get the feel I had when I was a kid and I used to go to plays, to playhouses. You ever walked in and said, wow, look at this place. This place is magical. And you see somebody like him singing on the stage, man, you go, man, I wish I could be up there. See, they go through this and they're entertaining you. I go through this on both sides. I get to entertain and I get to produce. And for me, everything that these guys do on stage is amazing. So that's why I hate the end of the year. And then in January, I'm going to love it again because we get to do it again for one more
We
year.
get to keep going,
One more year.
and you keep going.
And then you keep
And then
going.
there's more change, and you keep on going. But I have to say, happy Wednesday, everyone. But for me, I'm looking around here, and I'm realizing I'm the only woman in the studio. which is
Yesterday
rare.
was the other way.
Which is rare in this studio,
Yesterday
right?
there were no men, right, Josh?
Yeah, there was no men the other
That's
day.
not true. You had Jerry and you had Baxter.
I don't know about the end of the day.
By the end of the day, it
Yeah,
was
yeah. So we got the men
you.
taking
And
over.
Freddie,
Who?
but you.
It was me and him.
You. But I look around, it's not often that we have interviews filled with men, and I'm really excited because we've got Lynn Everard, host of Editor's Desk with Luis Gomez, which airs tomorrow night at 5:30 right here in the studio. And every week they bring on fantastic authors, but more than the authors, the stories that people tell.
True
And
that.
today we have their previous guest, Arthur Tassinello, joining us. And you know, it's always so busy here on Thursday nights that I hear the interviews. I'm always amazed. They grace us with an interview on our show, but I never get to really learn about the person. And then we got to talk to Arthur, and I had quickly looked at his card. I thought he was in one line of business, and then he rephrased it of what he does. And it is not often. Now, you think about 15, 16 years you've been doing this. How many men, hosts of shows, you've had and have been successful, and what their delivery is. It's never,
Why you put me on the spot?
you don't have to answer it, because most of the shows we do
'Cause
are women.
Because it's true, men don't have sustainability.
And if they do, it's about business. It's about finances. It's about wealth management, being attorneys. It's very, you know, the money side of it.
How to cut a dollar, we used to call it.
Lynn is very different in his delivery on his show. And then we meet Arthur, and his whole platform is on, oh, look who's here, the perfect guy. Kindness. Right? So it's really interesting. So I'm excited to get into that because we don't
Another
often
guy,
have
by the
that.
way.
And we got another guy, Abraham's in the house. And then Cece Clevenger, our very own star of every Thursday night Night Train, who has been here, the song that you heard our opening show with. He's moving. Moving on. That's a big change.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's necessary for right now for my wife. She's getting surgery done right away, and we're going to be in Tennessee where she's around her dad. Her dad can come and spend time with her. We're going to be staying with my folks because I can take care of all three at the same time. So
You're going to be the caregiver.
I'm going to be the caregiver for her. It's 10 to 12 weeks. For my parents, I don't know how long that's going to be, but
The hardest thing in your life is to be a caregiver, too.
well, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time too.
Yeah,
so.
but you ain't done it at the age they are tomorrow.
No.
You've done it at the
No,
age
no,
they
no.
were yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
I learned that lesson the hard way.
So we have a whole second floor for my wife to have her little office, but even though she's not supposed
I
to
was
be
going to
doing
say, how's she going to
that,
get up there?
there's a chairlift.
Oh, okay.
My parents have a chairlift in
Okay.
there, so they put that in for them, and then now she can use it to get up there. So,
Wow. Isn't it interesting how things always line themselves up?
oh, I might have had an idea on that one beforehand. So, it's okay though. Everything plans out the way it's supposed to be.
But you know, he just passed his license, so he's in the medical field.
Yeah, I just got my
Congratulations.
national certification for medical assistant, so I can work nationwide now.
And you've got a band I hear out in Tennessee
I
ready
did.
to roll?
I put one together. It was a bunch of friends that we had a band before, and they were all free. And I said, well, I need a band to do local stuff until Colleen heals. And they said, we're in. And so we got the band put together. I sent them the set list to learn. They have a few weeks to learn it, and then I booked a few shows in January already.
Where the show's going to be?
One's going to be at the Bristol Casino, the Hard Rock Casino in Bristol. I think we have a Moose Lodge that I have to call back today because I'm a member of the Moose Lodge. So they heard that CC was coming back, and it was phone call galore up that way.
The casino has to have video.
They do.
So we're going to videotape this thing, see if we can get a...
Okay. Yeah,
can
sure.
do that.
They have Wi-Fi. They have a sound man. We can go right through the soundboard probably.
They
with
have
the
to have,
sound man.
because they put it on their... They stay there, people stay overnight there and stuff, they have rooms.
Well, yeah, they give rooms to people, but I'm going to be living directly across the street.
But
so.
if they do that, they videotape it to put it in the room.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
has to be
absolutely. Yeah.
Videotape.
Are you excited about a new chapter?
I am excited about being home for being home wise. We all my family's up there. I'm excited about getting back on stage. I haven't honestly been on stage performing except for here in like 6 months. I did one-nighters in Chicago. I did one-nighters here and there, but to get up there and play every weekend or every day it's going to be a challenge because I haven't did any cardio for a while. So we got to get back in shape. I've already joined the Y, so we're going to go to the Y every day. And
Perfect.
been talking to the theater up there, the Paramount Theater, which is a very famous theater in Tennessee, and they have a couple good plays coming up. So we're going to try to get a little bit of entertainment in.
Very
Are you
cool.
gonna do some plays too?
I'm gonna try to get back in the musical theater. So
Interesting.
I have to ask you, on our morning show, we talked about the nature of tattoos and why people not only pick the design, but placement.
I was watching this morning. I kind of stopped after the Ouija board
Do you have a
conversation.
favorite tattoo that you have? Or one that really has the most symbolic meaning?
Yeah, two actually. My mom and I went and got tattoos at the same time. She got CC put in hers, and I got mom on mine, and then I got my grandfather, his date, year he was born, and year he passed away, on there. And then I have all my puppies, all my dogs are tattooed on me.
You have the new one?
Not yet, not yet. The demon is.
The demon is not yet tattooed?
Not yet. The doctor says I'm not supposed to have any more because my diabetes and the.
You're not supposed to put. That's right.
Yeah, so.
Diabetics are not supposed to do tattoos.
All right, more to come. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, let's talk to Arthur Tassinello, 21 Days to Love, The Secret to Longevity, Happiness, and Success, along with a workbook, and Lynn Everard. So stay tuned. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, Open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
Love the Brooklyn Cafe? Don't miss out on some of the latest merch we have available. Need a new shirt? The Brooklyn Cafe has you covered. We have a variety of shirts in all sizes, ranging from the classic cafe shirt to the highly coveted colorful hot dog shirt. Need something for cold weather? Why not grab one of our cafe hoodies? Or you can snuggle up with one of our soft silk touch fabric blankets. The Brooklyn Cafe has everything you need, from clothing about the show to our signature coffee blends and mugs. Get it while supplies last.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And a Hanukkah one.
I think we need to do a few more new elements.
I think I need some hot chocolate. Josh is like mind washing me into I need some hot chocolate. He brings it in every day. The power of the media is all I can tell you.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Welcome back. I'm excited to we're going to start with Lynn Everard, host of The Editor's Desk with Luis Gomez, because Lynn always brings in great guests. And today he brought in author, it's hard to say, author Arthur. I'm not even going to give that one to you. Author Arthur Tassinella with us. 21 Days to Love, The Secret to Longevity, Happiness, and Success. And there is a workbook that goes with this. So, Lynn, welcome back. We haven't seen you in a little bit. I know you weren't feeling well.
Yeah, dealing with some of this, whatever our friends from the north like to bring us this time of year.
You doing better now?
I am. I'm still dealing with some of the leftover fatigue from having I think what I had was the flu.
It's going around. It was just
and so
say
there's
this
still
is the worst.
the fatigue factor, and so one day I'm great, and the next day I'm like, I don't know. But in spite of it, life goes on. So.
You know, it's funny, Lynn, because now when I meet people and they tell me, like we went to the Leeds deal, and people tell me their story, and their story should be a freaking book, because they go on and they go on and they go left and right and all these canyons. It should be a movie. So I said, where's the book? That's my first line.
That's
now.
his line now.
Where's the book? You know something? One lady wants to hire me as her manager. You're right. I should have a book.
She's coming tomorrow.
And she's coming tomorrow, and we're going to talk. She says, I got a guy for you to meet, and he's going to put this book together for you. Everybody should have a book. Cece should have a couple of books. I should. It's amazing how much the written form, if you ask somebody, do you think you could put it on paper? Oh, I can't do that. I need help. And I think of you. I says, well, I got a guy for you. It's amazing. At the Leeds, I have like 4 or 5 people that should be authors, right?
I know. I never realized the power of the written word until you and your books, and I started reading all of these authors that are coming forward, because we have 30 minutes to give an overall idea of a book, and then you get into it and you get the feel, the touch, all of it. Plus your imagination can make it work to what you're thinking and how it fits into your life. And it just opens up a whole nother level. Josh reads a lot. Like if we get a break here between shows, he's in the back reading a book, which we've never had anyone here that does that.
No, not me.
I know, not you.
No.
What is it that you love so much about writing and publishing?
So we've talked about this before. My first book's called How Speaking Your Truth Could Save Your Life, and how it saved mine.
That was your first book?
Yeah, that was my first
The very
book.
first one.
And I realized that for all of us, there's a certain sense in which speaking our truth can either save our life or change our life. And so to be able to guide and support people into opening up, being vulnerable, being authentic, telling their story, and understanding that, yes, there were painful elements for them, that's true, but imagine that there's somebody out there who needs to read your story, who, without being able to read your story, feels terribly, terribly alone in this world. Like they're the only person who is experiencing what they're experiencing. And when someone puts a book out and they tell a story and then other people relate to it, and they share a moment of humanity together, even if they've never met, to me, that helps change the world. And so that's why I do what I do, because every person has an ability to tell their story and make an impact in the world. And they might think, well, they'll never do that. Most people secretly want to do something great or something that somebody thinks is great. Well, one of the things you can do is tell your story. And you have no idea the people that you can impact when you do that.
But the books and the authors you work with are different. Like now I'm thinking of all these books that come out that are against the government, that support the government, that like the president, that don't. That you saw this movie, right? All the politics and all the conspiracy theories. There's those books. And then there's the books that you work with people to publish. They're the humanitarian side. They're the feel-good. They're the here's my story, let me positively impact your life. Two different genres of, I guess, authors and publishing.
Because none of what's happening out there is your truth. Your truth is known only to you until you share it with other people. You don't find your truth by listening to the truth that other people are trying to convince you should be your truth. You find your truth by going inside and figuring out, who am I? And writing a book, even like writing a song, is a process of drawing out who you really are. Because most of what we think we are is somebody else's idea for us of what they think we should be. There's so many people in this world who are scared to death of who they think they are because they don't know who they are.
Do you think they're scared of who they are, or do you think that when they find out who they are, they'll be so amazed that how can I be this incredibly powerful, understanding person? Because who was saying it? We have all these, one of you guys, all these layers of gunk that we accumulate in our lifetime. And until we get all that mud away, it's like going on an archaeological dig, right? There's this beautiful gem or piece of silver in the treasure coast, but it's layered by gunk and mud and shells. And until you actually clean all that off and find this true gem, you don't really know who you are.
Right. It's like if you had a beautiful old car, well, you don't know it's beautiful because it has all these layers of grease and grime and gunk and dirt and mud and whatever else is there. And then suddenly you take it through a car wash and you see it for what it truly is underneath all of that. So the process of discovering who we are is not about healing, because everybody talks about healing. It's not about healing. It's about letting go of all the labels that we've assigned to ourselves or allowed to be assigned to us, all the identities of who we think we are or other people think we're supposed to be, and all the limiting beliefs that have been fed to us by people who were living from their own place of fear, fearing who they are, and could only put out to the world and to others their own fear. And once we start to dig into who we really are, we can find peace because we understand that we're not what we are so afraid that we thought we were.
And is that how you met Arthur? Through
I met
the message
Arthur
of his
through
book?
an organization, Holistic Health Connections, up in Palm Beach County. But you know how there are some people that when you meet them, from the word go, you know that they're an authentic human being? That was my first impression of Arthur. And so as you get to know people, you start to learn more about them. It's like, you know, I remember Arthur gave me a book quite some time ago, another book that he had written. And so as we have been working on our show, it's like, oh, I have a book by Arthur. We have to have him on the show. I wonder if this is the book he wants to do. There's a different book he'd like to talk about. And so then we started the conversation, and then he agreed to come on the show.
It was so crazy. The day Arthur was here, we're going to bring Arthur Tassinello on. We had just done a whole show on self-love and how you can't give to others unless you love yourself. It's the whole oxygen mask. And we had done a couple shows on that. And then in walks Lynn, and I said, what? Is today about self-love? I said, because that's been the theme of the day. And he says to me, actually, it is. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is how, and it was just unbelievable how it all lined up. So Arthur, welcome to our show, The Secret to Longevity, Happiness, and Success, 21 Days to Love.
Thank you, Dawn.
It
And
is
it's a pleasure to be here with everyone.
Such a pleasure. So as Lynn said, this is not your first book?
No, my first book was written in 2009. It was called Quantum Shift into Greatness. And let's talk, we talk about books, why we write them and so forth. And I find that all the books that I write are really about helping me heal myself and figuring out me to be the best person I can be. And so that first book was a culmination of all the spiritual studies I had done and all the things that have gone on in my life, my relationships, marriages, children, all of that. But what I wanted to do what I did do with this book, I hope, with that book back then, was I wanted to show people that science and spirituality are on the same page. And here's the things that you can do to be a better person, period. Just to be a better person. I look at it because I believe in God. Not everybody does, and that's okay. Whatever your beliefs are your beliefs. But I wanted to show that science said this is the way the world began, and spirituality said this is the way the world began, and it's really the same if you dig deep. So if you want to get that book, you can learn a little bit more because there's a lot of physical evidence and scientific evidence that shows this is the way it is. Again, you don't have to believe any of this. You can believe that we came out of the mud somehow and all this world was built on one amoeba, whatever that is.
It was funny because on the morning show, and I know Josh is in the other room listening, we talked about spirituality and magic.
Right.
Back in the beginning of time, before we understood what it was. Mm-hmm. And he said, do you really think it existed? Do you think people went around and were spiritual or they performed magic before there was modern medicine and all the science that we have now? And we both said yes. So that was the question, and clearly you think the same thing. Yes.
Magic. What is magic? Magic is something that we manifest or that comes to us. We think that if something happens in our life that seemed impossible, that's magic. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's something that is from God, but maybe it's just something that you decided to do on your own and you didn't realize it. It's just like writing a book. So people often ask me, how'd you write that book? And I went, well, I decided that the book should be a couple hundred pages, what most books are. Well, then what did you do? And I said, well, I kind of broke it down. I'm a very organized person and a little bit of OCD, maybe a lot OCD. But so I broke it down into, okay, here's what I want the book to say at the end. This is what I want to bring to people. But let me take a look at each chapter. So I broke down the chapters and I said, here's the title of the chapter. So I wrote for each chapter at that point. And so it became very methodical. It's like, okay, chapter 1. And here's what I always tell everybody. I don't want to take anything away from anybody else in writing a book, but if you decide to write a book and you just write, it's like throwing up, right? Just throw up on the pages whatever it is that you want to write and then organize it later. Because the worst thing that you can do is try to edit your book as you're going. You'll get lost. It's like a rabbit hole. You'll just get lost in it. So that's one of the things.
So how do you think spirituality and science are one and the same?
It's a great question. I'm not sure if I can answer that succinctly. Again, I'm going back, for that first book, I'm going back into the physics of the scientific part of it. And the scientific part says there's the Big Bang. And in spirituality, it is also the Big Bang. So it's all the same. I'm not going to go deep into the other parts of it because that would be too long for this show to talk about why there was a Big Bang on the spiritual side and why there's a Big Bang on the scientific side. But again, not to really promote my book, but take a look at that in a sense of, if science and spirituality are really saying this is the way things began, why do we believe that there isn't something greater than us that brought us here somehow?
Sure.
And again, these are all beliefs, right? We believe what we believe because of the way we were brought up. We were talking about this on your show, man. We only know what we know because of our parents to start. And then if we have any siblings, our siblings, if they're older, they teach us certain things. And then when we go to school, our teachers show us something else. And then our peers who have different beliefs throw up on us what their beliefs are. And maybe we decide that, well, we want to believe the way they believe. And then there's the news. And then there's the geographic area that we grow up in. All of these things are influences on our lives that form our beliefs. So unless we want to say, hey, why do I believe this way? Unless we want to look at ourselves really deeply and understand, what are these beliefs bringing me? And what am I bringing to other people through these beliefs? Lynn and I were talking before, this is all an inside job. Everything that we do, I say, and I don't like the word should very often because people would say to me, don't should on me. But we could want to look much deeper into ourselves to find out who we are really and what do we really want to be in this life. And for me, the first thing is I want to be kind. I want to be loving. I want to be giving. I want to have empathy. I want to have compassion because I want that for myself as well. So the more I do that, the more I bring that forward to everybody. A smile, a handshake, a high five, whatever that is, I guarantee you that's going to come back to you.
It's interesting because I'm listening to what you're saying, and sometimes what you write, the end message is choice.
Yes.
I've never been to the moon. Maybe you guys have. They tell me the moon exists. I said, look up there, that's what it is, that's the moon. And they say that we went up there. I was never there. But the interesting part of your book is not the choice, but the faith that you carry in what you choose. So if you believe in God, then
that's
your
what you
faith.
carry forward.
That's right. And if you don't, if you believe in the science, then that's your faith.
Right.
The bottom line here is, in my world, God never said, if you don't want to believe, that's up to you because I give you choice. On this planet, we have choice, good or bad. And that's not a gray area, even though sometimes we make it a gray area. What is it that Pastor Bill says? Do not make your thoughts a reality, because sometimes they're not. So what I like about what you're writing is that it just strengthens what I believe in. I believe there is a moon, and I believe that someday we're all going to travel there and we're going to walk on it and everything else. I do believe that. But that's faith. That's my faith that's taking over, my belief system. And my parents were very, but my grandfather wasn't. My grandfather was an atheist. Remember I tell you this? Grandfather died when he was 12 in my arms. And he begged me to get the priest to say to God that he was sorry. I said, okay, Grandpa, we'll do that. So the game is never written today. The game is written on your last day on earth. When you're going to sit down and says, I made a lot of mistakes. Maybe this is one of the ones I should correct. So I love what you've written because it gives me an opportunity to strengthen what I believe in. And I can listen to both sides.
Now, why don't we
You
take
know-
a commercial break? When we come
Okay.
back, let's talk about kindness a little bit more. There's going to be a whole lot more to this interview, I see.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. More to come with Arthur Tastanello, Lynn Everard, and Triple C. And we'll be right back.
Born in Marseille, France, Max
I
Lazega
got some
creates
kind of
whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come on down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
See, good thing you didn't go there last night.
What happened to the transfer?
You didn't want it, I don't know.
We had to make another one.
I had to read these books in between commercial breaks. So you're liking this whole conversation about kindness? What is it, spirituality? What about this conversation with Arthur and Lynn are you enjoying?
Well, what I like is he's giving you an option. He's telling you both sides of the equation, and you have to figure out. I love a book that opens up my mind and tells me figure it out. That's probably why I haven't written a book, because I don't want to teach anybody. I don't want to be somebody who says, yo, you're doing it wrong, let me show you how. I don't want to do that. I like to talk about things that have occurred to me in my life, like a miracle. Anybody know what a miracle is to themselves? You know what a miracle is?
I know, it only happens once.
Only happens once. And you get to witness that.
But you can have a different miracle all the time.
No, you're changing the definition. You see, you're saying black is black and white is white. It's simple. A miracle happens once. This is what I love about Frank. the author that comes in here.
Frank Ruffalo.
And Ruffalo, he tells me the same thing. I saw it once. That's why it's a miracle. And your book could be a miracle because when you finish writing it, there's the masterpiece. Now, interpretation is left to everybody.
Well, let's talk about this. I say 21 days. It takes 21 days to make a habit, a lifelong new way of life, right? You start with something, 21 days, it is now your new way of life. Is that why it's 21 days to love?
So that is, it's not quite true.
Okay.
It really depends. It really depends on the habit. So if you ask me to, you have to drink a glass of water every day for your health, 1 glass of water. Okay, I could do that. And I could do that probably in less than 21 days. But if you ask me to do neurosurgery, that's going to be a lot longer than 21 days to form that habit. So habits in general we believe, here's a belief, we believe that a habit is formed in 21 days. But it really depends on what that habit is. How difficult is that habit to form?
But wait a minute, then I have a question. Is 21 neurosurgeries because you want to do it right? Because you know you can do it wrong. You know you can do it. Anything can be done 21 days. I think the level of doing it to perfection or good or sort of good is the definition.
That's a great point. It really is. But in this case, this was just in general. So what I'm trying to do here is like every day, pick something like having compassion today. And that's having compassion with everybody today. There's no judgments about it. You don't choose like, oh, I'm going to be compassionate with Dawn, but I'm not going to be compassionate with Freddie. I'm going to be compassionate with Lynn, but not with Cece, type of thing. You're going to practice compassion today. So that's one day. Maybe that shows you that you can do it, number one. The next day, you're going to be empathetic. And the same thing, you don't get to choose who you're going to do it with. You're just going to find having empathy for somebody, something that's going on in their life, or sympathy, or whatever that is, right? Compassion, kindness, love. This is the idea is to practice it for that day fully, and hopefully now you recognize in each day that you can do that, and that can be part of you. So so this workbook, right? This is built on your key to love and happiness. So this is built on 21 days to love. But here's the hard work in this. The hard work is that you have a lot of questions to answer in here, to go very, very deep. And I know that when I was writing this with my friend Maureen Ake, she's a psychotherapist, the questions that we formed in here and that we had to answer for ourselves, even for myself, writing that book, and then starting to write this one and forming the questions, I went, oh my goodness, I learned something else about myself, to be a better person, to see who I am deep inside. Who's Arthur? Who is this guy? And what does he want in this life? And I can only get to, I'm so glad that I discovered myself, because by discovering myself, I discovered that I can give to others everything that there is and not take away anything from myself. In fact, in a way, I'm selfish and selfless. Selfless in giving to you, but then I'm selfish because it comes back to me and it makes me happy.
So I have to ask you your background. Have you always been, like, I know Lynn's backstory. Have you always been like this? And
No, I haven't.
You say wives in plural, so.
Exactly. So it's been, I don't like to call anything a failure. I like to call things an experience that I don't want to have again.
That's
right?
good.
Or an experience that I do want to have again. So that's the positive and the negative of it. When I realized that I'm the equation in everything, in every relationship, I had to look at myself. Instead of, many of us go around saying, if she would just do this, my life would be so wonderful. If he would do this, my life would be so great. Or somebody breaks up, right? They break up, they split up from a relationship or a marriage, and somebody will go, well, I wasted 10 years of my life with that person. Was it a waste? It wasn't a waste. You learned something. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you learned that something about yourself, and realizing that, oh, okay, here's the things that I did that really made this relationship shitty. So what am I going to do about that? How can I improve that so my next relationship doesn't show up that way? It's always about what can I do to make my life better and my life better with everybody else. Not just a personal relationship, not just a significant relationship, but it's with the people I work with. It's the people that I come across in the store, right? Employees, whatever that is. It doesn't matter who the person is. I can show up every time as a loving, giving, kind, compassionate, empathetic person, every single time. There's no ifs about it. But it comes from inside. This is something that I've been practicing for decades. This is not something that came to me in one day or overnight. It's not, in a way, it's a miracle, Freddie, right? My one miracle to discover Arthur Tassinello and how I can be the best person I can be all the time. It doesn't mean I'm not perfect at this. I struggle at it. Sometimes somebody says something that kind of, I go, oh, really? Really? But I have the opportunity then to not act, not react, but act. Consciously look at that and say, why did that push my button? Why did that set me off? But what am I going to do about that? It's like somebody coming to me and slapping me in the face, and then I go, I'm going to react and I'm going to slap them back. No, that's not the point of this. The point is, I got slapped. Why did it feel like a slap, number one? Why did it hurt me? Was it something way in my past that hurt me and this looks familiar? It seems the same. So, but again, I have the opportunity. I have the choice, Freddie, you said it. I have the choice. I can choose what I'm going to do with that. And my choice, hopefully, every single time is to show a kindness, to not react in a bad way to something that happened to me that made me feel bad.
We all know we have triggers, right? So it's how would we react to those past triggers? Do we change the reaction? So I think your book is more than love and kindness. It's about finding, as Lynn said in the beginning, your authentic self and truly who you are.
Yeah, everything in here, because it's a virtue. And all these virtues are really inside of us. And do we want to show them to other people? Do we want to give them to other people, these virtues?
You know, it's funny, Arthur. I lived in New York and on Hollywood Avenue, and there was a knock at the door. And it was a man and a woman, and they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not a Jehovah. But I told them, once you come inside, because it was 106 in the shade. They were sweating profusely. And, you know, they had the magazine. So I said, once you come inside, I'll make you some lemonade. You know, I'm not a Jehovah, but, you know, I can be kind to somebody who was... Now, my ex-wife is at the top of the stairs. She's like, what is he doing? And they sat down, and they had a magazine called Awakening. And that has always stayed with me. Not that I'm a Jehovah, but the words that they use. And I'm looking at you and I'm listening to what you're saying, and you had an awakening.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. The simple thing is that sometimes we won't say what we feel because we're afraid how others will look at it. And an awakening is a miracle in itself because you are doing what you do, and then you're feeding the masses what you do, and you're giving them a choice to be awakened. So it's really clever. I love what you write, the way you deliver it, but the most inspirational thing about what's going on is that you truly believe in what you've written. And now you look at the lives that go about when they read this thing. And that sort of sums up, again, going back to this is why I hate the new year, because here I am, I meet another one. This is another guy that I met. He doesn't understand the significance of him in my life. He doesn't yet. He will. Someday he will. And that's okay. But what you're telling me is an everyday adjustment that we have to be able to do. Every day, my father taught me, your life is like a record player with the volume. You have to make this adjustment. And those of us that make the adjustments more than others get ahead more. Seem like they get ahead more, they're just making the better adjustments. That's really what it comes down to. But the choice in that book is the magic.
It's like a modern day Christmas Carol, the movie, right? Where he takes that moment, he looks at his past and his present and what his future would be like without him to realize the true positive impact he has had and will continue to have on people if he has this awakening.
That's true. That's absolutely right.
I'm going to tell you a little story here, because this was probably the most impactful one, and the one that gets me emotional and really touches my heart. So my first marriage, we had a son. We were together about 6 years, and so now I'm a part-time dad to my son. And when he was 13, I moved from New York to California. And it was very selfish of me, because I'm thinking, well, he's 13, he's a boy, it'll be fine. I'll have him come out once in a while, I'll come back to visit him once in a while, blah, 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 blah. So I'm single now in California, and I'm not thinking about getting married, I'm not thinking about having any more children. But one day I'm in a shopping center parking lot, and I don't know why I said this, but I realized that my being a part-time dad to him really affected him negatively. It wasn't really good for him. And I said to God, I said, you know, God, if I ever have an opportunity to do this again, I want you to know I'm going to be a totally different dad. I'm going to be the best dad anybody could be on this planet. So 2 years later, God says, remember what you said to me, Arthur? I said, yeah. Well, I met somebody. We got married, and she got pregnant almost instantly after our marriage. So my daughter has been my saving grace. She saved my life because I became the dad that I could have been to my son. And so I've been so blessed with that. And these things, these magical things, I've had many miracles in my life, actually, Freddie. But these magical things can change your life in an instant and make you the better person that you've always wanted to be. You don't have to wear the labels of somebody else. You don't have to be like your mom or your dad or your uncle or your sister or anybody else. All you have to be is you, and recognize how important it is to do greatness in this world. Just great things. And we can all do it. There's no, I'm not magical. I'm not a special person. Each and every one of us has this inside of us to be the best we can be all the time. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. I don't care if you're bi or gay or whatever you are. You can still act consciously and choose a good path. I have lots of stories. I've done lots of things in my life. I've lived all over the country. It's all of these things, and that's why I'm so blessed, because all these experiences have given me the ability to try and write things that can help others, because that's my goal. I don't know, I think we may have talked about it when I was with Lynn on the show, but people say, so I want more peace and love in this world. In fact, I want the whole world to be peaceful. And somebody will say to me, you must be crazy. You can't create peace in this world. I said, you know, maybe it's not probable, but it is possible. And I use simple math to do this, right? And I think I may have said this to you, Dawn. Maybe I did say this to you. But if you, Dawn and Freddie, made friends with Cece and Lynn, right? That's 4 people. And then the 4 of you go out the next day and make friends with 4 other people. That's 8. And so it becomes 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,024, blah, 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 down the line. So any idea how many people we could reach at the end of 33 days?
Lots.
Yeah. Over 8 billion, more than everybody on this planet.
In 33 days?
In 33 days, if every one of us,
wow,
as we are touched, continue to do this for 33 days. It takes you to continue to do this, and this is why it's so important to do this work every day. Not just today because all of a sudden I feel like I can do it, but tomorrow because you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day because you want to do it. I love going forward and just saying something nice to the clerk at the checkout. Or the other day I'm walking through a Whole Foods, and this woman, we kind of just caught eye, and I looked at her, and I smiled, she smiled, I said, "You have a beautiful smile," and we just went on from there. So I know I touched her life for the day, and maybe she touched somebody else that day as well. I know she has. So you in this show, you're reaching millions, if not the whole world, and you don't even know it.
Well, that is our hope.
Well, I'm sure it's true.
That's our hope of what
We
we
could
try
go
to
to
do every day.
Einstein Bagels and look for the one screaming at all her workers.
It's true, right?
Everybody ran in this direction. And Dawn says, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm going to go meet her."
I go, she's the one yelling at everybody.
I said, "And she's going to be my best friend." And what happened?
She called into the show.
And she sent us bagels, and she was the best friend of the show for years. Sometimes you don't know what other people are going through at that instance, you know? And it's interesting that the things you say, because that's really the manifesto of why you write the word. You know, in the Bible it says he fed hundreds with 5 fishes. And the number that they're talking about is exactly what you just said. 4 leads to 8. How many times we talked about this? 3 leads to 6, 3 leads to 12, 12 leads to 24. The object of the game is to believe. I'm not telling you to believe a lot. I'm just telling you to open the door and let's see what happens. Because you never know when you open that door what's going to happen.
I just want to, if you don't mind, I want to say one more thing, because I don't want to monopolize your show, even though I can, or I could.
It's okay. I'm post killing.
This time of the year especially, every one of us is either having a good time or not a good time. Because it's either bringing us together or we're feeling bad because we don't have anybody or we don't have anything. We don't feel that we have anything.
Yeah.
This time of the year when you're getting together with maybe your family, your aunts, your uncles, your sisters, brothers, parents, whatever that is, there's probably something in the relationship with these people that maybe you don't really want to be there. But again, this is your opportunity. I want to speak to everybody out. This is your opportunity to be the person that you want other people to be for you. To be the kind person. Make amends somehow, or just don't make things worse. Everybody has struggles. And even the people that seem happy and have everything, they probably have angst right now about, am I going to get enough gifts for Uncle Joe or Aunt Sally or something like that? You know, did I get enough for anybody? One more gift for somebody else. So everybody's having these struggles, even if they seem to have everything. And then there are the people that really don't have anything and don't have anyone. So I invite you out there in the audience, if you have a place, invite somebody over that doesn't have a place. And see how magical that is for you, because I guarantee you that will fill your heart greater than anything else.
Absolutely true. Wow. All right, let's take a commercial break. I'm speechless, that's all I can tell you.
Why?
I had no idea. But maybe I did. Anyway, more to come. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. I think Arthur and Lynn are like this true, I keep calling it the Christmas miracle, the holiday message for this year. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. the distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now, you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
When you wear Zamboni Couture, you can feel pride knowing that you are supporting a small woman-owned business. We advocate for women's empowerment and always embracing feminine freedom and equality. Our fashion is all about style, quality, passion, and color through the use of amazing fabrics to help you find your own individual style. Let us inspire you with beauty and color. Follow us at Zamboni Couture on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or call us at 561-860-6099.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Just stepped into the ring again, toe to toe. Tell me, when will this fighting end? Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you wrong? you down so many times, but now you see that all I ever did was try to get your attention for just one little loving word, but now I'm gone and our bridge is about to burn. I don't have to like you, but I love you. You're my flesh and blood. I don't have to like you, but I care of what you're thinking of. I don't have to like you, but I'd miss you if you went away. Oh, please tell me you love me before I fade away. I don't have to like you, but I love you. You're my flesh and blood. I don't have to like you, but I care of what you're thinking of. I don't have to like you, but I'd miss you if you went away. Oh, please tell me you love me before I fade away. Here we go. We just stepped into the ring again, toe to toe. Tell me when we're the spotting end. Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you run? Or will you just leave it hide?
And we're back.
Can you relate to these stories?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Father always told me, you're always a dad, and you're always a mom, and you only have one of each. No matter how you feel, no matter anything anybody says. I know somebody, he had an issue, he had some problems. And he went away for a little bit and came back 18 years later. And she said to me, you know, I don't recognize my dad. And I says, you know, it don't matter what you recognize. And that's your father. There is only one dad. And never sell yourself short. Never sell yourself short, because without you, there would not be them. So it doesn't matter what time went that way. It only matters what time goes this way. So you take advantage of that every moment that you can. You hold on to it. You know, you're not here to judge yourself. Don't do that.
It's interesting. So I think you're like this Christmas miracle. I watch a lot of Hallmark movies because it's the only thing with no judgment whatsoever. And every Monday I come back in and I say to Freddie, so let me tell you about the Hallmark movie I watch. And everyone laughs, but it's always a Christmas miracle, right? And whatever it is, and yet at the end you know they're always going to come together and everyone's going to fall in love. But along the way, there's these signs, like I think of Lynn. The signs that you see of how you meet people, why you meet them, past lives, souls, and then you bring Arthur, and your whole life has changed from when you were younger to where you are now. To me, it's like this Christmas miracle, and
Yeah.
I'm not making light of it, but people can change for the better.
Yeah, my life has, it's like taking this cup and it's facing you on this side, and that's Arthur, right? Younger Arthur. And all of a sudden, Arthur goes like this, and all of a sudden you see the true Arthur, the Arthur that has gained wisdom and has gained knowledge and wants to give more to the whole world. My life has changed 180 degrees from where it was when I was younger because, we talk about a lot of things. I was that guy that had the ego that would say to people something to inflate who I am, to show people that, oh, Arthur's like this great guy and he makes all this money and he's got this position and all this stuff, until finally you go, why do you need to do that? What's that about? Just be who you are. And the more I became more of who I am, the real person, the authentic person, the vulnerable person, the more people liked me, the more people gravitated to me, the more people, and this is not an ego thing, right? I just love having people around. I love helping people. In fact, I've talked to people that I worked with 20 and 30 and 40 years ago that go, oh, I just remember, you best boss or best person to work with. And I didn't even recognize that at that time sometimes. I just who I was. I just wanted to do nice things. I wanted to help people.
And Lynn, for you, the books that you're writing, your book now about your authentic self, and listening to Arthur's story, and I know your story, you haven't shared a whole lot of it today. Is it part of why you're writing the book about, tell everyone the name of the new book you're writing.
So the new book I'm working on is called The 7 Layers of Truth. And it takes people on a journey through their beliefs and belief systems. That's where it starts. And we have all these beliefs. We have sources of beliefs. Sometimes the sources of the beliefs are other beliefs. And then if we put enough beliefs together and they kind of all work together, then we have a belief system. But all of that is, we choose it except for the part that we didn't choose, which is the part that's given to us by other people. Arthur was talking about teachers and the media, right?
Parents,
if someone
right.
grows up in a dysfunctional home, they're also given beliefs by their parents, or a dominant parent, that the belief is if you don't believe it, you're not going to survive. And people carry these survival beliefs with them through 3 and 4 generations. And they're still parenting their own children 3 generations down based upon the way the one person believed that they had to believe in order to survive in their own dysfunctional household.
Even if your house wasn't dysfunctional, we all have we have belief systems that, we're all dysfunctional in some form or another, but right, there's different levels of it.
Right, and they come from different places. And so even, when I work with survivors of abuse have all kinds of beliefs. But most of those beliefs are simply the result of lies they've been told. And so the work becomes identifying the lie, which has now become a limiting belief.
Is your book now about finding the lie, uncovering it?
So it's really getting to the truth of who we are as individuals. And so if we start from the outside, there's 7 layers in. So that 7th layer is the beliefs and belief systems. Now they serve a role which is to protect us from getting to layer 6, which is the awareness of them. Because once we have awareness, then we start to become aware of other things about ourselves. We start to become aware of things like our thoughts and opinions and our feelings and emotions, that they actually come from somewhere, and that they they can become our truth as well. They can become beliefs if we stay in them long, and especially an opinion.
All right, so let me combine your awakening, right? Because you had an awakening and Arthur changed his life. So your awakening, Arthur's had one, and now we come to this awakening through your book. And suddenly we have this aha moment, as Oprah says, and what do we do with it, right? Everyone in our life now knows us as what they thought they knew us, right? And now we're suddenly, but wait, we're really this person. How do you embrace it or understand it or share it? Because now your truth is your truth. How do you share it? How do you change who you are?
Well, you're not changing who you are, you're discovering your true identity. You're discovering who you truly are. And
but
so,
it may be different than your wife or your husband or your kids know you as, because they know you
Absolutely.
as this other person.
yes, we actually, the deepest truth of us is that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And everything that we take on in life is something that on one level or another we chose. Now, we didn't necessarily choose it consciously, but it was chose on some level, at a soul level, for example. And so there's a sense in which anytime we choose, like if you go to a movie and you go to one of these thrillers, right, and it's a thing and you're on the edge of your seat and you don't know what's going to happen and you start to feel stress and anxiety and all these kinds of things, and some people actually like that experience, but you're feeling all those things. Well, you could stop the movie and walk outside the theater and realize, well, wait a minute, this isn't real. This is all an illusion. I paid money for it. I went in, I got into it and everything, but there's nothing in that movie theater that happened that's actually real. There's people go home at night and they have nightmares from scary movies, but there was nothing in that movie that was actually real that happened in their life. And so it's kind of the same type of thing with us, is that most of what we spend time worrying about will never, ever happen. And one of the things we worry about is who we are. And will we be someone that people like? Will we be someone that we will like? And then the deeper we get into understanding all these layers and our childhood wounding and the pain involved in that, and you mentioned triggers earlier, right? Well, the triggers point us back to our childhood wounding or even just the stories we made up about our childhood. Some people have perfect childhoods, but they have a lot of childhood wounding because they made up stories about it. And your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and not. It only knows what you're focusing on.
You getting all this?
He's trying. He's
Right?
right. Well, the object of the game, I have debates with some of my friends, and they always want to understand what they're supposed to do with this awakening. What do I do? And I said, well, let's start with number one. Maybe you've overcome your fears. Maybe you're able to talk about something now that you couldn't talk about it before. Maybe you're not supposed to do anything. Maybe life will show you what you're supposed to do tomorrow. Maybe it isn't the answer of why. Maybe the answer is, okay, let's go and let's see where it takes you. Then you begin to meet people, and all of a sudden the people start filling out the leaves on the tree, and all your whys get answered because you meet a gentleman here.
Right.
There's another answer to the puzzle. And meet this guy over here. He doesn't have any realization that in this house, when he sings on Thursday nights, he does a show for me called Night Train. And everybody's glued on the music and the throwbacks and the oldies and what we did. And I sit here and I remember my parents who aren't with me anymore and the music that I heard that he's singing. So sometimes you don't need a why. Sometimes the why will come to you. But you got to open your mind to it. You got to say, it's okay to love myself. And let me show you what that feels like. And work it backwards. So I think when Linda's talking about, don't complicate it. Keep it simple.
Right.
Really simple.
And most of it is really simple, but we make it complicated. But I want to go, you talked about loving ourselves, right? And to me, this is one of the most complicated, confusing things, not because it is, because that's how we make it. Have you ever heard people talking and they said, well, so-and-so doesn't love themselves. That's their problem. Okay? That's not true. We all love ourselves on some level. If you didn't love yourself on some level, there's not another human being in this world that would love you. And at least for most of us, you know that your mom loves you, or she did at one point in time. So you're already lovable. But what we do is, we tend to, as humans, we focus on the negative. We focus on the part of ourselves that we are least comfortable with, that we still haven't accepted, and that we can't love about ourselves, and we turn it from the proverbial molehill into the mountain. And we make it be everything, and then we say, you see, my problem is I don't love myself. No, you've just made this one thing about yourself that you don't love into the only thing that matters. But it's not true. You do love yourself. And when you can understand that now your job, if you will, your goal is to figure out how to accept that part of yourself, because it may never change. But when you accept that part of yourself, something fascinating happens. And that is that other people accept it in you as well. See, everybody takes our lead about us. We think we have to be something that we're not. All we have to do is be at peace with who we are, and other people will be at peace with who we are, no matter how messed up we think a part of ourselves is. And if we accept that part of ourselves, other people will accept that part of us. But we get so worried, oh, so-and-so won't like this, or there's a blemish, and oh my God, nobody's going to like me for that. And did you notice that this one leg, it's a little different angle than the other? And, women, especially women, right, get in front of the mirror and pick out all the stuff that's wrong.
And no one else is even really looking.
And
right?
Because nobody cares.
Right. True.
Because they're all too busy worrying about themselves and looking at themselves. But we don't think that because we get all wrapped up in it. So just, I guess if I was going to give advice on this, it's discover the parts of you that you don't think you love. And find a way to accept them. Find a way to say, you know what? This isn't exactly where I want it to be, but I love it anyway. And other people will too. And then we let go of so much of this anxiety that we carry around.
It's funny because CC just said he doesn't like to hear himself sing. And I can relate because I hear sometimes we play tapes on the radio and I'm driving in the car. And there's people in the car. And there's the show. And I'm laughing at some of the things that we do and some of the things that we say, some of the music that plays, I get to listen to it. And it's changed my life because I didn't like to listen to myself on the radio. I wasn't even on TV. I was never in front of a camera until I met her. For a year, I think, right? And I says, no, it ain't about me. I don't want to be the camera, blah, blah, blah. And then when I got on there, then I thought I had to be the funny man to try to hide my fears of being on the camera. Until one day I woke up and it says, it's all about the fear. About not hearing yourself, not liking yourself. It's a whole lot easier to accept the negative about you than the positive. What happens when you run out of the negative, man, and you're only stuck with the positive? Then what do?
You're finding your true self.
Then what do? You create more negative.
True.
You start talking about how your shoes don't fit right, how you lose your hair, and that's a big deal. How people perceive you because, I don't know, you're wearing the color black. I mean, I've heard it all. It's just so fascinating to see how human beings will create so much negative about themselves, but they don't look at the positive, how you change lives, about the things that you do. Dawn will get up here and she'll talk about this show is brought to you by, and she'll go through a whole thing that I can't remember that. And I've been doing this twice as long as her. And they say to me, does she have a teleprompter? I tell her, who? I see a Santa Claus. And you got to be good at what you do. You got to believe in what you do. And then don't worry about it. You know, a legacy is not something that you preach you want to have. It's something that you do because you do what you love. Let others create a legacy for you. Who cares about that? It's important. That's why your message is so important. You should write a book if it makes you feel better about yourself. You should read a book if it's going to make you feel better about yourself. You should listen to your voice if it's going to make you feel better. You know, if I had your voice, I'd be in all the hospitals.
Look at your jacket.
Every single day singing to kids that are dying, to people that have COVID or cancer or whatever. Because your voice heals, man. It's just a given fact. And you're never going to believe that until you say it does. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what you know. What do we always say? Get or get got. Simple. It's a simple formula, ladies and gentlemen. And again, it brings me back to the end of the year. My God, I hate it because all these emotions come out.
But that's all good.
Nah, because I ain't got mom, I ain't got dad, I ain't got my brother. And this is what we did every Christmas. My mother used to open up the doors on Popham Avenue in the Bronx. Now, if you live in the Bronx, in a big building, and you left your doors open, it was always, it got to be cuckoo in the cabeza. But she did that because she took anybody who needed something to eat. Anybody that get it coming out of the rain. My father used to say a saying, rain hurts, and what he meant was it's raining outside and you're getting wet, come on in. He used to give his clothes. My uncle was in the military, and he had military clothes he used to bring. Master Sergeant, I used to love it because I felt like I was in the army with him. And we used to give these clothes to people that didn't have clothes. You know, we had a lot of Vietnam vets in our house. That's how I learned about the war, about what was going on through their eyes. Man, just give a little bit of attention. If you can't give nothing else, lend an ear, because you got two. Lend an ear. And listen. Listen to what you do. And then one day you're going to say, you know, that guy with the hat, he was right. He was right. So you got to keep doing it.
National Pearl Harbor Day, too. All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap this up. We'll bring in Cece, and we got to bring in Josh in this conversation.
Yeah, I like to hear the millennial side.
You know, I think, Freddie, that you and I get to truly be our authentic selves in this studio. And when we, maybe not when we're out of the studio, but when we're in the studio, we are totally who we are. Cameras on, cameras off. You
can't fake this.
You get what you get. But then all the people that come in, as Lynn always say, we open ourselves up to bringing in that energy and frequency of who we are.
About.
So more to come. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Creative, enchanting, whimsical. Artist Gina Bella is always creating artwork based on real stories and emotions. Expressed through Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clay, her feelings and stories come to life. Complete with glittery diamond dust over paintings and pottery, Gina Bella is always creating new pieces and commissions. You can find her work in staging homes, family Christian bookstores, New Jersey boutiques, and the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery, where she offers personal guided tours of her latest art pieces. Gina can also be found hosting weekend art camps, where she teaches adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. For more information on Gina Bella and her art, contact livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or give a call to 954-857-5444.
Coffee News is a fun, family-friendly weekly publication provided free to restaurants, coffee shops, and waiting areas for customers to enjoy. Grow your business today through the power of effective, affordable advertising. Coffee News is an active marketing medium specializing in the ongoing weekly promotion of your business. This builds awareness for your company so you become known as the leader of your industry and develop brand awareness so people think of you first when they want your services or products. Maximize your visibility and achieve outstanding results. For more information on Coffee News, contact Sunrise Coffee News at mail.com or give them a call at 954-951-7870.
Ever needed a good read? Maybe a book to keep your mind off things. Frank A. Ruffalo is an internationally known author and accomplished screenwriter. He's written many successful novels with amazing stories. Fiction adventures like The Lady of the Harbor, The Trihedral of Chaos, Gabriel's Chalice, 10048, and many more. For more information, visit www.frankaraffello.com, or you can find Frank Ravello on Amazon.
Bright, bold, beautiful. Audrey Omar creates artwork pieces that make a statement in any room. Using ethically sourced material, these handmade artworks are made in collaboration with Divine Higher Power. This unique method gives vision, passion, and energy to every piece. Find Audrey Omar's work at the Brooklyn Cafe Studios or audreynow.com. Audrey Omar, art that opens the heart.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solutions Center. With your insurance, you may qualify to get a new CGM right now at little or no cost to you. By wearing a small remote device, you can immediately reduce the painful finger sticks. They're accurate, easy to use, and help you make better diabetes treatment decisions. If you take insulin 3 or more times a day or use an insulin pump, I want you to call right now and take advantage of our free shipping offer.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to all animators out there. Do you want to get good experience and practice in the work field? Well, look no further than the Brooklyn Cafe Studios, where you can be a part of South Florida's best animation department. For more information, contact 561-235-1890. Again, that's 561-235-1890. Or you can email me at baileyaltabet@gmail.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
We're in line. And we're back.
Yeah, we had 25
because we want to pick your brain a little bit.
I have no brain.
See, and we go right back to those negative thoughts and all of that stuff. You know, did you?
Negative. He's a big clown.
When you were growing up, you always thought your parent, everything they told you was right.
It wasn't about being right. It was just whether or not I wanted to run with it. Not everything my father told me. He wanted me to change a socket one time with a screwdriver. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Kids, do not try that at home.
No, don't do that. But you have to choose right. But this is true about everything and anybody. Everything in life teaches you a lesson. It's the yin or the yang, and you have to pick it.
No, we always say kids are born not knowing anything, right? Kids are a clean slate. They're born to love and to be loved. That's all babies know. And then you take in all of this outside, even from parents and grandparents and all the extra stuff we bring from other lifetimes. And it's not all true, as Lynn always says, right? This is not our truth. These are things that other people put upon us and then we bring in from other lives until we can clear. And I like the word awakening. So you go, wow.
That's from the magazine from the Jehovah's Witness. They used to have a magazine called Awakening. And it's funny because now that you say that, you always have a tendency, like I always have this thing about mothers, you know, that give birth to a child. And we did a show on this, remember? Men are jealous of women.
I don't understand that.
Men can do anything they want to do, except give a child, make a child. They can make child, they can't birth a child. And you have no idea of how frustrating that is for a man.
Would you want this ability?
Absolutely.
Would any of you other men want this ability?
I think I'll pass on that one. Yeah.
So, I would say that I would love to have that experience to know exactly what that's like for a woman. I can't imagine, I guess I can imagine the love that you have inside of you, what that brings to you as a woman, that you have some living body inside of you and that you're nurturing and giving. And so when I look at, you see shows or you see documentaries about what happens, somebody loses a child. I was watching, I don't know if you watch Yellowstone, so.
Yes.
Right, Yellowstone, she lost the child in the accident and stuff like that. You relate to that. You go, oh my God, how hard is that to lose a child? hard for the man, but way harder for the woman. That's a piece of you that you just lost. So yes, to answer the question again, I would love to have that experience, just to feel what that is all about.
But we're never going to get that experience. No. We're never going to be able to have that experience. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. I know, guys, I know. When you are in that birth room and you see that child of yours come out, it changes your perspective about all moms. I love your mom, you know that. All moms, because I admire something I will never, ever be able to do, ever. No
you
guy
love
in
moms. There is not one person that ever brings a mom in here that he doesn't love and treat like your mom.
True that.
And vice versa.
True that. True that. My
to the
mother
point,
told me that,
we've
yeah.
even gone out and gotten other people's moms lunch, right? And found food because their moms were hungry. You love moms.
That's the way I was raised. It's the way I see. You know, your mother is the one true female love for every guy out there that lives longer in your life than any other woman that's going to come in and marry you or divorce you or marry you again. Makes no difference. That's the one person. But mothers, I'm going to tell you, man, you got to give them a blue chip.
Well, I got to ask Cece because we didn't talk to him before about all this whole conversation, and now you're moving back home.
Take care of mom.
To take care of mom.
And dad.
And Colleen, you're now becoming this caregiver.
I am. And I'm willing and looking forward to doing it because it's, other than music, taking care of people is a passion.
So you feel this is your authentic, who you are, your calling?
What I am I'm a giver. I give, it's either love, entertainment, caring, caregiving, whatever it is, I just love to give. So if I'm on stage, I give my heart, soul, passion to the crowd, entertaining them. If I work in the hospital, I give them 100% attention, sympathy, empathy, whatever needs to be given to that patient to make them feel like they're going to be okay. So
how long you been doing music?
I performed on stage the first time at 7 years old.
And how old are you now?
I'm 45. So I've been.
So you've been doing a little bit.
A long time.
And you've written music, your own music, and you do oldies. You do
22 original songs that are done, and I have 200 that needs to be worked on.
And we've been playing CC's music today, so download it, go to Spotify, do what you got to do to follow this, man.
Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, iHeart, iTunes. It's on every single digital media.
Now, the amazing thing is, that's like writing 22 books.
I could publish probably a book of all my songs as a poetry book.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Because I have, well, my mom has it. Actually, she has a scrapbook that she's made over the years of, there's dinner napkins and there's placemats from restaurants where I just, instead of people doodling, I'm sitting there writing lyrics in my head or writing down thoughts.
Your mother collected that?
And she collects everything I do.
See about moms, man.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody like a mom in the world.
T-shirts.
It is true.
T-shirts from different bands.
A mom's love is like no other.
I
That
think
is
it
true.
was Josh or Slick that introduced me to the word lyricist.
Slick.
Lyricist.
Lyricist.
Yep.
Is that you? Is that what you consider?
I am a balladeer lyricist because my biggest thing is I love to write love songs. And I sing. I wanted to be, my idol and a person I always wanted to be my whole life was the plump Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers.
Let me tell you, you sound like Lionel Richie.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers was the man. When I was younger and I saw the Lady video with him wearing the white tuxedo and the shirt open, and he had a gray beard, gray hair, and he was plump before the surgery. That's who I wanted to be because my father actually looked like Kenny Rogers back in the day.
He's an amazing guy, Kenny Rogers. And he used to do music with Lionel Richie. That's who you
Lionel
remind
Richie
me of.
wrote Lady.
That's
Yeah.
right. And Lionel wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people. A lot of songs. I just found out that Howard Stearns has this thing on HBO, and he interviewed, what's his name? The rock guy, Springsteen. Bruce. And if you've seen it on HBO, phenomenal piece. He is 78 or 73, I think Bruce is now, 73?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And he wrote over 50 songs that other people have turned to hits.
Yeah.
Some with his permission and some without. And he's turned them into hits. So he asked him, how does that make you feel? And he says, man, it's all about the music. I don't care who makes the money on it. It's all about the music.
Right.
So he just sold his record collection to Columbia. They now own all of Springsteen's music. He's sold it to them because he thinks they're going to do the right thing by it.
Yeah, all the rights to the music, yeah.
So you have 22 songs and working on 4. You just started working
I
on
just
4.
wrote 4 in the last 2 weeks.
That's like writing a book.
Yeah.
You know how difficult it is to write one song, and here you are writing.
Well, for the last couple of weeks since Colleen got sick, and she's not able to get out of bed. I'm sitting on the couch, coming home from Chicago with the flu or whatever that stuff was, and I'm just sitting on the couch with the demon dog next to me, and I'm just writing out lyrics and have my phone out with the digital recorder, singing ideas and doing whatever.
I'm going to tell you something in front of these people. The same thing that I told Kendra, Erica, 8 years ago. 8, 10, 8, whatever it was. Same thing I told her. You're going to write a piece of music that a superstar is going to sing.
Yeah.
And that's going to change your life. It's the same thing that happened to her. And this Thriller song that she just came out with is probably the best work I've ever seen since I've known her. I've known her. She learned how to sing in here.
Well, we think that's going to be the song for Frank's movie. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? But my goodness gracious. You guys have such talent because God took his pinky and he tapped you with it, which is amazing because everybody in here has been tapped. What you do with it is now up to you. So it brings me to my friend over here, Mr. Josh, who is, Josh is a very interesting individual because I see a lot of me in Josh.
Do you?
Yes, except he's more talented than I am. I had to do my talents coaching kids and things of that nature, which he can do if he wants, if he chooses. But he has musical talents. He has singing talent. If you catch him on the right day, if the wind is blowing in the right way, he will actually do something without fear, which is, I think, that Josh is what he's learning to overcome and do as he's doing now. So did you listen to any wise words today, my friend?
Yes, but I'm trying to think. I know there's no camera on me.
That's okay. We know he's here.
There's only 2 things that really kept popping out to me.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it really correlates with anything, but there's one thing that George Harrison kept saying. On the outside is just our outer shells. I mean, there's no choice of how we look. There's no choice of whatever it is. It's just we grew up to be these bodies, these shells or whatever. It's just the inside. That's where you want to grow, and that's where you want to see become better, I guess. The inside yourself.
Now, who said that?
George Harrison.
Well,
the
he's in a
Beatles.
position to be able to say something and other people are going to listen, right?
Yeah.
That's the trick there. If Freddie said that, then nobody would care.
Everyone cares what you say.
That's not true. That is absolutely not true.
I was hoping you would say that.
Along with Josh, I often have said that we are all exactly 100% the same, but we just wear a different meat suit. And this is just a meat suit that I have on. But underneath it, I have the same organs as you do, right? I have the same bones as you do. I have the same muscle, veins, blood, everything. We are all exactly 100% the same, folks. All of us. Maybe we think a little bit differently, and maybe we look a little bit differently. But when we start to understand that we all are the same, that we all want the same things, which are the basics, right? We want shelter, we want love, we want food. We want those things. Everything after that is, well, actually, those are needs. After that is a want. So how many of these other wants do we really need?
Well, what about when you become a role model? Not that you pick to become a role model, but you become a role model. And everything you say and everything you do is now dissected by others that are looking for a path.
Right.
Because they don't realize they have a path, so they look to join other paths.
Yeah.
what do you do then? Because now you have to be careful what you say, how you say it, when you say it, how you dress when you say it, if it's raining when you say it, she have a headache when you say it? There's a lot of other balances that you have to deal with. So how do you balance that? How do you handle that?
So that's going to happen forever. But the thing
Forever.
is, so we have learned how to divide ourselves more ways than we have to unite ourselves.
Sure.
We divide ourselves by religion. We divide ourselves by social economic situations, right? We divide ourselves by country, by city, by state, by everything that there is to divide ourselves, to distinguish ourselves from the next person. My state's better than yours, my city's better than yours, my street's better than yours, my Italian heritage is better than your French heritage. We do it constantly. Maybe if we could just learn to look beyond all of that, if that's, and it's possible to do that, but could we really just put all of that stuff aside? You're tall, I'm short. You're heavy, I'm thin. You're male, you're female. How many different ways do we want to find to divide ourselves as opposed to saying being a homogeneous species, period? Right? Just be all together.
Is that where the saying divide and conquer comes from?
Well, do you know? Okay, so along those lines, in war, what's the first thing that the warring country does? The first thing they do is they take over the airwaves, because now they can tell you what's going on for them to control everybody.
That's right.
Sure.
That's very true. That's very true. It's the most powerful thing on this planet is the media.
Yeah, exactly.
And how it's controlled, and the irresponsibility, not the responsibility of it.
Which is why you and I try to do what we do on the other side of it
Well,
every day.
But even we're guilty of it when you express exactly what we did today.
Yeah, somebody will not like something.
Somebody.
Well,
There's
that
always
any one
going to
of us
be
has said.
somebody who doesn't like
Which is
what you
okay,
do.
you know, I mean-
There's always, I mean, I always, I always thank all the, well, used to call them haters, now I call them non-believers. But I always feed, the fire that feeds me is all the people who don't believe in the things I do and tell me I can't do it. And I use that to elevate myself that I can do it.
It's funny because you're only going to hear the word can't because it elevates you.
Right.
It gets you on that
Right.
list.
I don't hear can't. I just say, it might be a slower process to climb up them stairs, but I'm going to get it.
Now, our age difference makes it a little bit different. Josh, I'm interested in, do you feel what he just said?
Kind of. I mean, the only, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I know I have confidence in myself. It's just the fear of bringing it out. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess I got sidetracked, but because what I was gonna say was, you gotta watch the season finale of a show called Atlanta. There's it's a little story in there. This guy goes to like a water therapy kind of thing, and it shows him walking around, and something just bad happens, and he wakes up in this water thing, freaking out, not knowing what's going on. So they take him out, they towel him up, dry him off, and he leaves, and something else crazy happens again. He doesn't know what's going on. He wakes up again in this water thing. He dries off again. He walks out, and it's just this whole mind cluster that you watch with it. But once you watch it, you kind of not understand the meaning of life, but you understand that everything is just a show, a play that you're watching, that you're in. You can do whatever you want, but you're just going to wake up in this bathtub again, and
Maybe
it's just
he
going to start all
never-
over.
Maybe he never woke up. He's still in the tub. And he's having all these nightmares.
Or
one
sound like
after
the Truman
other.
Show?
Sounds like Total Recall, almost.
Right, Truman Show?
Yeah.
I hate the Truman Show so much. It's the scary. That's the scariest movie of all time.
Freaks you out. Because what is reality, right?
That's right. What is reality?
What is reality? Arthur, how do we get your books?
Go to Amazon. So Amazon has all of my books. Just do Arthur Tassinello, and my books will come up. So you can, Amazon.
Is there another book in you?
Yeah, there is. Actually, there's a lot of books in me. Whether I'll produce another one or not, I'm not sure. I would like to, but all of my books are all about bringing us together. That's my passion.
Definitely the message of the season. And Lynn, for you, your books, and anyone who wants to write a book, Lynn can help you do that as well. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Best way to reach me
Grab your mic.
is call me at 954.
Mike.
That's because he's holding his phone.
Best way is to call me at 954-647-3554.
Well, come tomorrow when he's going to be on the air on his show.
5:30 right here, the
Come
editor's
here
desk.
around 5 o'clock or 4:30 and talk to him.
He's interviewing
5:30, yep.
5:30 CC, and then he'll be back on Friday with Sally. You guys are in treat because we got all these kids coming to sing on
Cece's going to be on
Friday.
his show tomorrow.
I know.
We're going to be singing tomorrow, too. So
How do people get your music?
they can look me up, CC Clevenger, on Spotify, Amazon, any digital media source, YouTube, and still we have another music video coming for Only One Woman. The master right here, Josh, is going to be making my first official music video for Only One Woman.
That's the noise he makes.
Oh, God, that noise.
And for information to reach Josh, you can find him right here at the studio a lot of days. Ready to wrap this up?
Ready to wrap it up.
Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other. Special new edition of Sarah Spiritual coming to you on Wednesdays now from 6:30 until 9. Still call into the radio station to ask your questions for, I don't know, maybe the end of the year and what's happening for 2023.
There you have it.
More to come with that. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Don't be-
9 a.m. drive time.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.